Greetings, everyone. Welcome back once again. My name is Rico, and this is the GSG Global Marketing Group. And today's video is all about clarity. There's going to be no trading jargon, no hype cycles. I'm just here to tell you what's happening in crypto right now and why it matters, because it could affect everybody. And what we're tracking right now is an upcoming Avalanche token unlock. Also, Coinbase's push into the mainstream with a major regulatory development, and also what's really going on with Ethereum right now. We'll talk about that and more right after the intro. Don't go anywhere. So the crypto market is stabilizing after a crazy start to February. Bitcoin remains range bound. Ethereum is under pressure near key psychological levels, and attention is shifting away from speculation towards fundamentals. And let's start with Avalanche, a high performance layer 1 blockchain known for speed, low fees, and its multi-chain design. On February 11th, Avalanche will unlock 1.67 million tokens worth about approximately $15.1 million at the current price of Avalanche. And here are the facts that you need to know. This unlock represents about 0.32% of the circulating supply. Total maximum supply is capped at 720 million AVAX. The unlocked tokens go entirely to the AVAX Foundation. And for you non-technical viewers out there, a token unlock simply means a locked portion of the supply is now becoming available. And usually these unlocks are scheduled, so there are no surprises. What matters is how large the unlock is relative to the supply. In this case, it's relatively small, 0.32%. Historically, unlocks of this size do not automatically lead to major price drops, especially when they are allocated to foundations rather than investors. The Avalanche Foundation typically uses funds for developer grants. We talked about that on the last video, infrastructure improvements, and ecosystem growth and partnerships. Now, from my perspective, this is great, because Avalanche is one of the core blockchains where our GS50 token lives, and more network activity makes it much more better for those who are using GS50 for rewards and dividends. So the things to take away from this news is that it's not anything to panic over, right? The token unlock is a very small part of the supply, and what we need to do is just watch how the foundation is using the tokens and how the market responds after the February 11th unlock. Now let's switch gears a little bit and talk about Coinbase, because if you didn't watch the Super Bowl last night, you might have missed Coinbase's 60-second ad during America's most watched football game. It's built around a karaoke style theme called Everybody Coinbase. This message was simple. Crypto is no longer just for early adopters. It's now for everyday people. And this matters for 3 reasons. Last night, millions of viewers who don't follow crypto news were introduced to the idea of digital assets in a non-technical, non-intimidating way. I think that is beautiful. And then you have the trust and legitimacy of it all, because major national advertising signals confidence, regulatory resilience, and long-term commitment. And then there's that user growth potential, because historically, spikes in public awareness lead to increased exchange signups weeks or months later. So Coinbase's extended campaign beyond television places displays in Times Square, the Las Vegas Sphere, and NBA arenas, reinforcing the idea that crypto is now part of everyday financial conversation. For GSG, the broader adoption benefits our entire ecosystem. As more users enter crypto through regulated platforms, liquidity improves across multiple blockchains, including Avalanche, Base network, which we also run GS50 on the base network, and the Binance Smart Chain. Now, I also want to bring your attention to this because Coinbase has quietly had a significant legal win. Beyond advertising, Coinbase has secured an important legal and regulatory victory this week after a multi-year lawsuit. U.S. regulators agreed to release previously withheld records. Also, they're going to pay legal fees for Coinbase and revise how they handle transparency requests. The case centered on whether regulators informally pressured banks to limit services to crypto companies without formal rulemaking. Let me repeat that. Regulators were pressuring banks to limit services to cryptocurrency companies without proper rulemaking. And let me explain why that matters to everyday investors. This means there's going to be more transparency, reducing uncertainty. And that also means that there's going to be clearer banking access, and it's going to lower the risk for exchanges and also users of those exchanges like Coinbase. And institutional confidence improves when rules are enforced through law, not informal guidance. This doesn't mean that regulation is suddenly easy, but it does represent progress towards a more predictable environment. Now let's switch our focus to Ethereum, because many investors are wondering what's going on with Ethereum, because we did see Ethereum fall below $2,000 despite a bullish long-term forecast from major institutions. All right, analysts like Tom Lee argue that Ethereum historically recovers quickly after sharp declines, pointing to a strong ongoing network usage. At the same time, short-term technical analysis shows continued downside pressure, potential support near 1760 and 1400, and market sentiment is still very cautious. So for non-technical viewers, what this means is in the short term, prices can fall due to fear, profit taking, or broader market conditions. Long term, institutions continue accumulating Ethereum because of its role in decentralized finance, stablecoins, and tokenized assets. More importantly, Ethereum's slowdown has led many developers and users to explore alternative networks, including Avalanche and other layer 2 chains. This diversification supports a multi-chain future rather than reliance on a single platform. So what we're going to focus on this week, ladies and gentlemen, of course, is the Avalanche token unlock. We want to make sure that we observe the markets to see how it responds after February 11th. And we're also keeping our eye on what's happening with Coinbase, their push for mainstream adoption, and also the regulatory changes that are happening around Coinbase and the banking system. We want to keep our eye on that. And then we want to make sure that we keep our eye on Ethereum, right? Because there's volatility coming, and we may find an opportunity down in the 1700s to increase our position in that asset. If you own that asset, I do own Ethereum, so I will be taking advantage of these drops to levels where I think we're going to find some support. Now, if you appreciated this information that I just put on to you, make sure that you subscribe to us right now. Write something in the comments. Let us know what you think about what you just heard today. And also, if you want to explore what we're doing with GS50 on Avalanche, on the Base Network, and on Binance Smart Chain, let me know. I have no problem jumping on a meeting and explaining to you how and what we're using our GS50 token for. It is a utility token, but also a reward paying token, and we can get into more of that later. So with that being said, everybody have a great Monday. Make sure that you keep your eye on what's going on in these markets this week, and we will talk again soon. Goodbye.